Hello everyone, and welcome back to the FPL show on Gunning to Old Trafford and the Enfield Way ZA. You with your host Mohammed Furichotia, and guys, let's get into it. Game week 7, but let's take a look at how game week 6 went. I think this week was a week where a lot of people scored quite decent points. So we'll go through that quickly, and then we'll have a look at the league as well, because I think we need to check out who's going to be finishing on top in week 7 for the mystery kit giveaway. So, game week 6 for me, 77 points, which I thought was decent, still above the average, which is always great. Had one or two no-shows, Udogi being one, Alvarez and João Pedro, and I think had and Diaz as well, actually, come to think of it, my tip as well. Had any of them scored decent points, I would have been smiling. I would have had a really great week, but still, 77 points, nothing to cough at. And guys, I want to give a shout out to our Gunning to Old Trafford man, Mr. Shady, scoring 88 points. And I'll show you that when we get into the league. But guys, Abdul's playing FPL for the first time, number one. Number two, doesn't have Haaland in his team, so doesn't have the captain that most of us have, and still manages to outscore myself and EB almost every game week. Amazing. So if we go into the Gunning to Old Trafford League, we've got probably Ridwan Ali running away with it. I think it's going to be, unless he has a shocker of a week this week, he should finish on top of game week 7. And that makes him the proud owner of a mystery kit from our sponsor, All Kitted Up. And hopefully, let's see what happens. I think he should be okay. 92 points, and let's see who he had in his team. Trippier, Burn, Haaland with 12, Saka with 13, Salah with 10, Mitoma with 14, Kabore with 5 on the bench, and that's actually not bad. Not bad at all. Crazy week for a lot of people, and 92 points. Wow. Well done, Ridwan. Let's have a look at Mr. Abdul, and let's hope I can find him. Next, I think he is. I will find him. My other account, my normal FPL account, is this account, and that's sitting at 61. It's not bad. 71 points. Actually scored worse than my Enfield Way account, but it's a little bit more consistent. Let's have a look at this. Mr. Kota, what's happening? Raja. Let's go down one more. There we go. So, Mr. Abdul, and this is the shocking part, right? So have a look at this here. I'm not going to go down and show you the substitute spends, right? Abdul decides he's going to make a bit of a shocking move this week, and made a choice to go with his Brighton stack, which was 21 points, right, versus his Villa stack, which was 18 points. So he ended up making the right call, but how's this for a bench? This is crazy. 12 points, 18 points on his bench, right? I mean, he could have dropped someone. Well, he couldn't drop Saliba, he couldn't drop Saka, and he couldn't drop Ramsdale, he didn't drop. He actually started with Ramsdale, and Ramsdale didn't play, so Pope came in, and I think that got him an extra 6 points there. But well done, Mr. Shady, doing well. Myself and EB are trying to play catch up most weeks, which is a lot of fun. But let's get into game week 7. I've got a problem this week. So we've got Botman and Saliba with possible injuries, as well as Saka. Saka's 50% chance of playing, which I think is 50-50 is never a good thing, so I'm probably going to pull him out. I need to make a decision, and this is where the issue comes in, right? I know Matip is probably not going to start. And I have to have 3 Liverpool players in my team as per our rules for our FPL challenge. 3 Liverpool players in my starting 11. So I've got 1, 2, 3. Diaz, Salah, okay for now. I want to probably move from Diaz to Custard Slice or Soboslai. Custard Slice, hashtag Custard Slice. If you guys know, you know. Matip is probably going to be swapped out for Konate. But if I do that, I'm sitting with 2 defenders that probably don't start. They say 75% chance of playing. I'd probably take a chance on from a fixture point of view, I'd probably take a chance on Saliba. If Saliba don't play, Saliba doesn't play, but then I'm really screwed. I'm one man down. Botman, Burnley, probably the slightly more difficult. Well, not the more difficult fixture. It actually could be an easier fixture, come to think of it. But and guys, at this point when I'm recording the video, I don't know whether Botman or Saliba are fit to start. I haven't watched any of the press conferences this week, and I have to make a choice. I have to decide whether I'm going to go transfer out Botman or Saliba, because I can't risk not having 2 defenders that don't start, because I know Matip is not going to start probably, and I know Saliba and Botman are also at risk of not starting. Let's do this. Saka's coming out. Douglas Luiz is going in. I put Saliba here. I transfer Botman out. And Baldock is the one that's also... I mean, Baldock could have jumped into this easily, but he's still injured. Okay, well, I have to make my transfer. So I'm going to transfer out Botman, and I'm going to bring in no. I'm going to transfer out Saliba, and I'm going to bring in Walker. Do I do that? I don't think Matip is going to start. I think Konate is fit. I know Van Dijk is fit. Konate played in the week in the Carabao Cup, and I think he played the full game. So he might, but I don't know. Klopp is probably going to start Konate because it's usually his number 1 choice, and it's Liverpool versus Spurs. He might start with Matip. I think I risk it. I think I risk it and go with Matip. So I'm Ibi, if you are listening, and Shady, if you are listening, I think Matip starts because Konate started in the week in the Euros. So I'm not pulling a fast one. I do genuinely think he might start, and I'm going to take a chance on him starting. So I'm not making a change of moving Matip out. I'm rather going to move Saliba out and bring in Walker. And that means I confirm my transfers. And we go with Walker in for Botman, Douglas Luiz in for Saka, Botman here, Saka there, and I start with Leno, and I don't want to captain Haaland this week. I'm going to take a risk on Salah. Guys, I actually called in our preview show for this week, I said Liverpool Spurs 1-1 draw. And I think that would be a great result for Liverpool, considering the fact that it's Spurs away. I do think the goal that we score comes from Salah. Either an assist or the goal. But he's going to have a role to play in this game. So I think I captain Salah. And if Salah has a crack of a game like he usually does in these big games, and Liverpool go out and win, Salah potentially scores a lot of points. I know Haaland's playing against Wolves, and the potential is that he could score a good few goals. But Wolves has been giving a lot of teams a run, and they tend to be very cagey when the game starts. So I think City should win. I just don't see them scoring a lot of goals. And Haaland's form recently hasn't been great. I mean, last week he was captain. He only got us 6 points and 12 points because he was captain, but 6 points in the game. So I'll take a risk on Salah. And that's the way I'm going. Leno in goal. Walker, Matip, Udogie at the back. This one worries me, but I've got no other choice. Diaz, I hope he comes good against Spurs. I really do. He needs to start scoring some points because he's been dismal. Douglas Luiz, again, option that I don't have, was my bench. With Saka being injured. Mitoma against Villa should get some points. João Pedro against Villa should get some points. Hopefully Alvarez starts and hopefully Haaland starts and they both get some points. I'm happy there. My bench is definitely not going to get me anything, I don't think. And Turner versus Brentford could be the way to go over Leno. But Leno tends to get a lot of saves and he's been performing quite well. So I think I'm going to keep him in just for the sake of hopefully he gets quite a few saves. If he gets a clean sheet with a good couple of saves, that's going to be 7 or 8 points. So I'll stick with him. And guys, fixtures for the next couple of weeks. I think everyone needs to start looking at what changes they're going to make, right? Liverpool, and let's go this way. If we look at Liverpool's fixtures coming up, right, they've got Spurs and Brighton. Brighton is the one that might be a little bit of a more difficult game, but we've got Everton, we've got Forest, we've got Luton, and then we've got Brentford, right? Brentford, I don't think that should be rated as a 3. I think it should be rated as a 2 for Liverpool. Man City is the one. But we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 possible fixtures that Salah could do well in, and possibly getting in some, I'd say specifically Salah in as a Liverpool asset. The other one that seems to have good fixtures is Chelsea players, but I don't have any Chelsea players. And let's see if we can. Well, let's do this. Let's find a Chelsea player. Sterling. Fixtures. They've got Arsenal coming up. They've got Brentford. They've got Spurs, but they've got 2 good games here that you could maybe look at Chelsea fixtures. But Chelsea just hasn't been playing that great. So a lot of people are talking about bringing in Chelsea fixtures. And yes, for 2 game weeks, you could bring in assets. But I wouldn't waste your time because they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games that are going to be tough. And then they've got a whole lot of decent fixtures again. They had a good game against Brighton, but I think that's a once-off. I don't see Chelsea performing well. The other team that's, I think, had some decent fixtures could be Brighton, and let's confirm. Yeah, they've got some good fixtures coming up. Maybe the next 2 or 3 weeks is going to be a little bit tough for them, but you've got a good run of fixtures coming up after that. So if you do have some Brighton essence, maybe just bench them for the next 2 or 3 weeks, and keep them for the end of October. City fixtures are gonna get a little bit tougher for a couple of weeks here and there, but it's City. I don't think there's a lot of difficult fixtures for them, but you should have some. You might need to think about what you're gonna do for City fixtures. I think you keep Haaland and maybe get rid of the others, because Haaland will probably still score you some points. And then we look at, I think it's, well, let's have a look at Newcastle. Except for the one game in November, they've got a good run of fixtures coming. So you might want to look at Newcastle. Except for that week where you can bench 1 or 2 players. So you have a lot of weeks here where they can have some good fixtures and get you some good points. So I think keeping Botman was probably the right idea. Getting rid of Saliba for now, if he is injured, is probably the way to go. So guys, that's me for this week, game week 7. Hopefully you guys have a great week points wise. I think everyone had a good game week 6. Game week 7 is now when we start getting to the business end of the FPL season, and not necessarily in the sense that it's too late for you if you start falling behind, but this is where it starts becoming make or break. Every week becomes a little bit more important, especially getting towards December where there's a lot of fixtures. So if you start building a lead now, when December comes and you've got a decent team, you can pull away quite far. If you start falling behind now, by the time December comes around, you're going to fall behind very far. And then come the January transfer windows and there is some movement, you tend to struggle with your transfers and your picks and choices. So let's have a great week. We'll see you guys again next week. Guys, please don't forget to comment in the videos. Let us know what you guys think of the content, any ideas for us. Like the videos, share it, and we'll see you soon. It's Moment for Each Shot here out, gunning to Old Trafford, Enfield Way ZA, and we'll see you guys next week, game week 8. Bye.